Hey, so I just thought I would pop on while I had a moment. My day has kind of gone differently than I expected for how I was going to use my time. So I thought, well, this is something I was planning to do later in the week. Maybe I'll check it off my list today. I want to talk about the importance of the words we choose when we're talking about other people, especially when we're talking about students. And I guess this also pertains to how when we talk about ourselves as well, right? Because we all know that our internal dialogue, how we talk to ourselves, shapes so much of our experience. It shapes our emotions at the moment. It reflects how we perceive reality. It's a very, very powerful thing. So if you're talking negatively yourself constantly, like, I can't believe I'm so stupid, that does trickle into other parts of your life, right? Because you may act as though you really do feel you're stupid. You may start to actually believe yourself. And as somebody who, when I make a mistake, my first go-to is to feel like, oh my goodness, I am the only person in the world who could possibly have been so dumb. Or even better, if it's something I've made a mistake with before and I'm doing it yet again, that can always be a little bit of a negative thing to you in the long run. I'm thinking specifically about how we talk about students, though, as I'm preparing to go back to work. It's really common in the province of Alberta, once you reach grade 10 through 12, to talk about things being academic streams and non-academic streams. The way we structure our high school programming for the core subjects especially is like there's the 10 level, the 20, which is grade 11, and the 30. So if you're a -1 level, you're considered what's called academic. This is the stream that will get you access to opportunities in the future, such as universities and colleges. The -2 route, we often refer to as educators as the non-academic route. And the other day, I overheard an individual in the field refer to them as non-learners. And that really, really upset me. I didn't say anything in the moment. I just kind of thought about it and went, oh, that's a slap. Imagine if you're sitting in a class and they're like, you're a non-learner. What does that say about you? To yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, this teacher doesn't even think I can learn. And I know that educators, we don't mean that. We don't believe that. In our hearts, we believe that every child can learn, every child can succeed, or at least I hope we do, or we shouldn't be doing this job. There are kids who have different challenges than others, absolutely. But I find with language, when we say, you're an academic, you're a non-academic, it kind of puts you in a box. And if you think that you're stuck in that box, then it will affect the choices you make and how hard you work. I don't have an answer for this, really, other than let's watch our words. I think that the students that are in what we call our non-academic strands, our -2s, our -4s, which is doesn't lead to a diploma, it leads to a certificate of completion. But for students in those situations, I think it's really, really important that we find a way to define what they're doing as, in fact, academic. Are they not learning math? Are they not learning science? Are they not responsible for their grammar and spelling and learning English and reading repertoire and literature that's going to build them up and make them better human beings? They're learning. And those are academic skills. And even in the non-academic sphere, so to speak, things like the arts, things like shop, IA lab, we call it in our building, but it's shop, right? So there's the textile side, there's the woodworking side. The skills that the students require, that individuals require to complete those tasks are, by definition, academic. So I really struggle when we say to a kid, you're taking a non-academic course, especially when it's a math course or a science course or a social course. How is that non-academic? This is just an example in my head, I guess, of how language can define. Also, in situations when we're talking to kids, my son, maybe he is struggling with reading. So we don't say, you can't read. No, he doesn't read. We don't even say that. We say, he doesn't read yet, or he's working on reading. But yet's a really powerful word, right? When you say, I'm struggling with this right now, but I will get it eventually, right? Making that growth mindset leap. And in the province of Alberta, I'm seeing a real push for growth mindset thinking, which I love. I've been a big fan of neuroflexibility and all of those sorts of things that have been, covered in research for many, many years. But I think it takes, unfortunately, a conscious effort to change. I know returning into the education world, I'm going to really try. I'm promising, guys, I'm not going to call kids non-academic. I'm going to try. Because I really think it tells them that they aren't achieving something that's valuable. Academics are really important. And who cares if you go to university or you go to trade school or you go straight to the workforce? You're going to use the skills you learn in high school. So I really would like to encourage other educators as well. Can we move away from that dialogue? Can we stop calling the -1 courses academic and the -2/4s non-academic? Please. I really think it would make a big difference to the expectations that are set in the room. If I have kids who come in who are used to not being achievers academically, who struggled, and they're in a -2, -4 course with me, and I walk in and I'm telling them they're non-academic, I'm telling them right from the get-go, I don't think they can be successful. That I don't think what they're doing is hard, that I don't think what they're doing maybe is challenging or worthwhile, and that's not true at all, because I think that the non-academics are just as important as the academics. It's about the whole kid, and it's about challenging a kid. How many people do we know who did a -2 course and then go back and challenge a -1 and go on? How many people do we know who have upgraded later in life? I have a sister who I love you, Anna. She didn't do well in high school. It wasn't her thing. It wasn't. And she's gone on. She's upgraded. She is now super successful. She makes way more than I. She lives in New Zealand. I love you, Anna. I hate you, Anna. You have such a great life. And you know what? High school was no indication of that for her or for me or for so many other people. And so I would really like to encourage those of us who work with youth to really think about the words we're choosing as we're encouraging children to make life decisions. We don't want to pigeonhole them. We don't want to tell them they can and they can't, because guess what? They're going to. And I can just tell you from the number of students who've reached out to me after they become adults to edit a paper or look something over because they're doing something else with their life that is academic. They're going to use this. It's great. Let's encourage them now. Let's build that mindset. Let's show them we believe in them rather than putting them in a box and telling them, I'm sorry, you're not as good as the -1s. You're just going to fit in -2. And I don't know a single educator who's that blunt and awful. I don't. Everyone I know and I work with are fantastic with kids, but can we please just take a look at the language? I think non-academic and non-learner needs to disappear. Thank you for coming to my knitting TED Talk today. I can't shut this off.